Normally you're here for board games and that with us, but today we have special guests with us. We have Alex and Brandon. They are event organizers for Level 99 Games, and today they're going to show you guys everything about the Exceed fighting system. It's a tabletop fighting simulator. Is that
It's
a good
accurate.
thing
Yeah,
to accurate way to say it?
Yep.
And what I'm going to do is hand over the reins to them for today, and they'll walk you all through it. And I will see you at the end of the stream.
Alrighty.
Have fun,
cool.
guys.
Hello, I'm Alex. This is Brandon.
Yeah.
We are demoing Exceed, the fighting system. We're using our third season. It's Street Fighter. We have 3 seasons. The second season is a bunch of anime characters. We're going to be demoing these characters later.
Well, we're going to focus on Ken and Ryu, which might be familiar faces for you guys.
Yep.
So we're just going to go ahead, and the best way for us to start demoing is going to be running through. So
Yep.
we're going to play rock, paper, scissors
Okay.
To see who's going to go first. Rock, paper, scissors, shoot.
Okay.
All right, I win, so I'm going to draw. I get to determine whether who's going to go first. So, Alex, you're going to go first.
Okay.
And so, as a result, I'm going to draw 6 cards because I'm going second, and he's going to draw 5.
Yep. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
4,
Don't worry, we did shuffle the decks beforehand.
6. All right.
Okay, so because I'm going to go first, I have to decide what I'm going to do. There's a list of actions. However, I feel like I'm going to just strike to demo the main point of this game.
Which is attacking.
Yep.
All right.
So I will strike with this.
And I will counter strike with this.
So what we do is we place them both face down, and then when we both are face down, we will flip them over. So flip.
Flip.
And now the first thing we do is we look at speed. Speed, even though I went first, he has a higher speed, so he's going to be attacking first. So what are you going to do?
So on my turn, since I'm going first, we've determined that the speed of my card is higher. 3 is higher than 1. We are going to do my before text on my card. So before my card, I advance 2. So 1, 2. You do not count the other player as a space for advancing. And then we will calculate range. So 1, 2, he is within the 2 spaces. So that will count as a hit. So I will hit you for 5. Minus his armor. So armor reduces the damage that you take. So his focus card has 2 armor. So he's going to take 3 damage instead of 5.
Correct. And because this card specifically says opponent cannot move you, he didn't try to move me.
But I would not have been able to anyways.
Yes. So I'm going to take 1, 2, 3 damage. Now because I have enough guard, I'm actually able to strike back at him. So he's in 1, 2 range. Because he has moved, I will be attacking always towards him. So my power is 4. I will be applying 4 damage.
I do not have any armor, so I'm going to take the full 4. 1, 2, 3, 4 down.
Correct.
And because they were both hits, your after effect is going to go through first, so you get to draw a card. And then my on-hit effect was gaining advantage, which means that it would be my turn if it wasn't going to be my turn next. But since he went first, I would be into my turn anyways.
Correct.
So now that was both a hit, these get added to what's called our gauge. These are used to do several things in the game, such as exceeding your character or using red cards that are in your hand, possibly, to do special attacks such as the Shoryuken. Or the Hadouken, which we might see later.
Yeah.
Exceeding is the name of the game. So gauge is used to exceed. So on these main cards, there is these blue squares. The blue squares sync with gauge. So on the red cards, you'll see blue squares in the top corner. And on your card, you'll see blue squares on the little symbol here and the flip around symbol here. So if I had 2 gauge, I can exceed, which is to flip, which you guys will see in a little bit here. We'll get back to the little symbol here on our cards in a couple turns as well. So now it is going to be my turn. At the start of your turn, you do not draw. You're going to determine an action that you want to do here. So my action is going to be something called a boost. So I'm going to play this card as a boost.
Okay.
A boost, you're going to use the, you have to discard the amount of cards in this red space called force. Force are the cards in your hand. So currently I have 4 force because of the 4 cards in my hand. Red cards are worth 2 force. This card requires 0 force to play as a boost, so I get to just add this card to my character. So the cards with the gold crosses are equipment cards or continuous boosts. So I get to add this card now as a equipment to my character. So on my next strike, I will get +2 power, and at the end of that strike, it will go away and it gets discarded. Because I did not strike, I do get to draw a card at the end of my turn.
Yes.
So I will draw a card, and now it will be Alex's turn.
What I'm going to do is, because he played a boost, I'm going to boost as well. I will play a instant boost, which is something that plays immediately. So it says choose and discard a boost in play. So I'm going to be discarding his boost in play. And this will get discarded, and I will draw. Now it is your turn.
Alrighty. I actually didn't think this far ahead, so now we're gonna see what's gonna happen. All right, I strike.
Oh no. So he is striking. It's on my turn. So I'm going to be looking for something with higher guard or higher speed because I want to make sure I hit him. Unfortunately, my hand does not favor me in a defensive play, so I'm going to do this.
Alrighty, so I am going to go first because my speed is higher. Before, close 2, but since I am right next to you, I do not move. Closing only lets you approach the enemy. It does not let you pass the enemy.
Yes.
So I'm going to stay where I am. I am within one range of you, so I am going to hit you for 4. He does not have any armor, and he does not have any guard. So the armor does not reduce the damage, and the guard causes him to get stunned. Which
Correct.
means that this attack does not go through, and I get to add this to my gauge.
Yep. Now it is my turn. You didn't draw a card because you strike.
Because I struck.
I don't like the hand I have, so what I'm going to do is a thing called change cards. So what I'm going to do is spend 3 cards in my hand to draw 3 new cards. Because those cards are a little bit stronger than I need at this moment. And because I can reshuffle the deck later, reshuffle the discard pile back into the deck once per game. I'm not worried about losing these guys yet. I will get them back later.
If the game goes that long.
Yeah.
Yes. Alrighty, so now it is my turn.
Yep. And I
you
would
get to
draw
draw.
one.
You get to draw a card because you did not strike. So I'm going to spend my 2 gauge now because my gauge cost to exceed is 2, and I get to flip my card over. And now, instead, I get to gain a different ability than what I had before. So reusability before was you may move 1. As an action, you may move 1. So I did not have to. Normally, you would have to pay force or cards from your hand to move. But Ryu can move without that as an action. Instead of playing a boost or striking, I can move. Now I can also draw a card as that action. So I can move 1 and then draw a card and then draw another card every turn. Because an exceed costs as an action, my turn is going to be over as soon as I draw a card, and we will continue now.
Okay, so I'm going to do something that is on the other side of the card. There's a bunch of little rules, such as EX attack, which is strike with the same card. So because I have 2 of the same card, I'm able to play both of them down and say I'm EX attacking, which will give me a bonus of +1 on each of the stats except a range. So you did a block. I'm going to go first because I have 6 speed because of that EX attack. I have a 5 power because of the EX attack. I have 1 guard and 1 defense, and 1 armor. So I'm going to be hitting you for 5 damage.
5 damage minus my 2 armor, which is 3.
Yep.
And then when I am hit with block, I get to choose to discard a card from my hand to gain 2 more armor, which would reduce the damage that I'm going to take by 2. So I am going to choose to do that. I'm going to discard this card, and I'm going to have 4 armor now instead. So I'm only going to take 1 damage.
And because that the 1 damage is less than your guard, that card
successfully blocks. So you also on hit gain advantage. So it is going to be your turn next.
Correct.
Only one of these cards is going to go to your gauge because it was a successful hit. The other card gets used up to perform the EX attack, so it goes to your discard. Block special ability is even though I didn't hit him, after this card is successfully played and I survive a hit, I get to add it to my gauge anyways.
Yep.
All right, and now it is your turn still, Alex.
Yep. I'm going to do something called a prepare, which is draw a card, and because I didn't strike, I will draw another card. Your turn.
All right. I am going to... So I don't have any cards that I want to play in my hand. So what you can do is, if you still want to strike, is you can perform what's called a wild swing, which means that you take the top card of your deck and play it as your strike. I don't know what this is, but I'm hoping it's something better than what's in my hand, because I do not want to use any of the cards in my hand right now.
I've seen games win and lost because of a wild swing. So let's
Oh,
see.
there we go. Look at that. All right, so here's a good example of a cool interaction. So since I was the one who initiated the strike, even though our speed is the same, my speed is going to get counted as higher. So I'm going to go first. I am going to hit you for 6 power.
3, 4, 5, 6.
And then on a hit, you have to discard a card at random. So I get to pick one, and we're going to go for this one.
Oh no, not my spike.
Oh, yeah. But 6 is not higher than 6 guard, so your attack is still going to get to go through as well.
Correct.
So I'm going to also take 6 damage now.
Very even.
And then you also get to discard a card.
Put that there.
Alrighty.
And because we successfully both got a hit, it'll go into our gauge.
Awesome. Now it is your turn again.
Is it my turn again? Mm-hmm. Okay.
I struck.
Oh yeah.
Well,
I'm going to exceed. Discard 3 cards. When you exceed, draw a card and close up to 2. As an action, you may close one and draw a card. Then you may strike. Because I didn't use my action, I just draw a card and then I draw another card because I exceeded.
There we go.
So,
now it is my turn.
There's also these reference cards that will come in play, especially if you're trying to figure out what the opponent might have. It lists every special ability the opponent has. So there are 2 ultra attacks, which cost gauge, and then there is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 special attacks that do not cost gauge, but are only specific
to each character. Yes.
So each character has a different list of these. There's also 9 other cards like Sweep, Assault, Focus, Block, and so on that are common across every single deck. So Brandon might want to look at my cards to see which cards can hit within range 1.
And so now we'll trade each other's cards so that I can look and see what he's able to do.
This is all public information, so he is able to look at that.
Alrighty.
Much like a moveset in Street Fighter.
I am going to prepare as my next action to try to gain some more cards in my hand.
Okay. I am going to, actually, you know what?
Oh, you showed me your card.
Did I? Okay.
Naughty,
then
naughty.
I'll boost. Go through.
Oh, that is a good boost.
I'm going to hit up a speed 2 and draw a card. Your turn.
I'm going to boost, add this card to your gauge.
Okay.
And then I get to draw a card.
I am going to... I'm going to strike. We flip. We check speed because I have the same speed. Actually, I have a +2 speed, so I'm going to go first anyways.
Oh.
So 5, 6, 7.
I also have +2 speed because you initiated the strike. So you still go first. So we countered each other. We played the exact same attack. Oh,
Yes.
That's good.
So I'm going to hit you for 4.
4, and I 1, 2, 3, 4, and I flinch.
Yep. Also, I had a +2 if you initiated the strike, so even because we had 2, I had like a plus.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, you were very win. You get to discard this card now because that was applied. Okay. I am going to use my action and move one, draw a card, and then draw another card because my action was not a strike.
Mm-hmm. So I'm swinging at you with a 5/4 that has double strike. And whenever a good creature is attacking, you may have target creature block it this turn if you. And I have a
I'm going to strike, and I'm going to do something that we haven't done before. It's called a critical strike. So I'm going to take 1 gauge and apply it to my attack. It'll gain the bonus on the card that says critical before. There is different criticals, so. Yep. So I'm going to flip my card over. Critical plus 2 speed, so I actually have 6 speed.
So it's
I'm
the
gonna
same,
go
so
first.
you're going to go first, yep.
I ignore armor and close in 1. So I'm going to close 1. I will hit you for 5 and ignore armor.
Yep. So I do take a full 5,
Yep.
and I
This will
flinch
go
because
here.
I don't have any guard, and it goes into my discard pile.
Yep.
Okay. End of your turn. End of your turn, I'm going to sack secure tie builder to tutor or basic. Doesn't even matter.
I am going to boost and advance up to 3. 1, 2, 3. Discard and draw a card to end my turn.
Does double strike? No, it does not make any.
I am going to strike with a critical. EX strike with a critical.
You're just throwing all your cards at me, aren't
Yep.
you?
I'm going to hit you hard.
Got me thinking, Alex.
Okay, and we're gonna flip. So I did a Hadouken. So my speed is gonna go first because I have 5 speed. I have 1, 2, 3 range, so I'm within range. Because I criticaled, I gain a +2 power. So I actually have 3 plus power because I EX attacked.
Yep.
So I hit you for 4, 5, 6, 7 damage.
-2.
Because of your armor. Yep.
-2 is 5. So I'm going to take 5 damage. 5 and 5 are the same, but I am not within range to hit you. But I did not stun, so I do still get to draw a card.
Correct.
So I will add 1 to my hand. And I missed, so it goes to my discard. One of those goes to your gauge, and one of them gets discarded.
Not necessarily,
Oh,
because after
actually,
if you
you're
hit,
right.
you may return this card to the top of your deck. If you do, add the top card of your discard pile to your gauge. So that's going to go there, and this is going to go here.
Very good.
So it's allies. Go to 0 Gideon to get another knight ally. Trigger.
I've got it somewhere, but
Let's go. Alright, your guys tapped. What are they opponents?
I am going to boost
So I'm going to tap you get one.
with this. Ignore armor, now strike.
Okay.
No. It's only
Oh, okay. Ignore armor. That's fine. So I am going to strike and critical,
Oh,
and we're going to flip. Ooh, you're going for a big hit.
oh yeah. And I get to, so I win the speed battle. So immediately with the red cards, you need to discard the gauge cost. So 3 cards for gauge cost go into my discard. I am able to, I'm able to then hit you for 7. It ignores armor because of my
3,
thing.
4, 5, 6, 7.
And you, and then after I get to move up to 2. So 1, 2.
Yep. Because you were 7, that's higher than my guard. I will flinch, and both of these cards get discarded.
The red card is going to get discard, or it's going to get added to my gauge because of that. But this boost, because of its on-hit effect, also gets added to my gauge.
Oh wow.
So I get both of these cards added to my gauge. So I recuperated most of the gauge.
I am going to do a wild swing.
I am also going. I'm going to play that, and I'm going to critical.
Okay. I'm going to go first.
I am
because
going to go first because I have +2 speed because of my critical.
Oh, wait,
So-
I didn't know your Hadouken was
Yep,
different.
my
Oh, okay.
Hadouken is different. So my Hadouken is
you outplayed me there.
that's the cool thing with Ken and Ryu is that
Yeah.
they play a lot like their Street Fighter, actual Street Fighter counterparts. So Ryu is faster when I use my criticals and
Yep.
in a lot of other situations. So my Hadouken has 6 speed now because of my critical. So it is going to go first, and I hit you for you're 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. You're within range, so I hit you for 4, and you're going to flinch. So that is not going to successfully hit. I get to then after add this to the top of my deck, and then add the top card of my discard to my gauge instead.
Yep. It's your turn.
It is my
It's
turn.
actually-
I am going to wild swing.
Are we gonna do a wild swing match here?
Oh yeah.
Just flailing our arms? Oh no. Okay,
Alrighty.
so
So
you go first.
I'm gonna go first. I'm gonna
yes.
hit you for 4, and so I'm gonna hit you for 4,
1, 2, 3, 4.
and I get to do the same thing, and add this to my gauge. And now it's your turn.
I am going to, as an action, you may close one and draw a card, then strike. So 1, draw a card, and then I may strike.
You may strike, so you don't necessarily have to strike if you don't want to.
I'm going to pass on that.
Alrighty. Since you did not strike, you do get to draw another card.
Correct.
That's the nice thing about Ken's ability. It gives you options.
Yes.
The way the cards are worded, make sure that you read it correctly, because a lot of the words are very literal. The card text is always very exact with what it means. May, you don't have to. You can choose to, which is very good. I am going to strike. Whoops. There we go.
You might win this. We'll see. Okay.
Alrighty, so on dive, I get to use the before effect, advance 3. So 1, 2, 3. I am now right next to you, so the range counts. I hit you for 5.
Minus 2.
Minus 2.
And then minus 4. So
Minus 4, so you're
I
still going to take 1,
damage.
and you're going to be at 1.
Yep. This goes here because I successfully blocked.
I successfully hit, and now we're both handless, and we're at the very end of the game.
So I'm going to do my ability, which is close 1. I can't get any closer, so I'm going to just draw a card, and then you may strike. I'm going to not strike.
I am going to prepare as my action for my turn so that I have some options.
Yeah, because this next hit's going to be what...
This is
would
what's going to
the-
determine it, I think.
Yeah.
Or to give them extra 5 bucks.
I'm going to boost for +1 armor and +3 guard, and then draw a card. Your turn.
I am going to boost to add +2 power and +2 armor.
Okay.
And then I shall draw another card as well.
I'm going to boost and discard a boost in play. So goodbye, sir. And draw a card.
I'm going to boost +2 speed. And then draw a card.
I'm going to prepare. 1, 2.
Look at the top 3 cards in the library. Exile 1 face down. Cast it. Alright. And at any time, put the rest of the armor up too.
I am going to strike.
Okay. Ooh. What do I do? You don't have any armor. So, or any armor boost, but if you hit me, I'm going to lose. However, if I hit you with this card, I could win, but you also have that speed boost, so I'm going to try to play it safe. This may lose it for me. Okay. I'm going to go first.
You are going to go first.
I'm going to hit you for 3.
1, 2, 3. You're holding on by a hair.
Yep. This will get discarded.
But you get to hit, on hit move me. So
Yes.
That,
So I'm going to move you 2 spaces away, so you do not hit me.
and I miss. So this card and the boost get discarded, and he's still in it to win it.
Yeah. This is an intense game.
Oh boy.
Clone targeting Seagate Warmaster, so it'll be enter as a copy as with him. So it's get another trigger on Lord Destiny and then trigger Hot Replay.
Is it my turn? Or? Oh, okay.
I struck you.
I'm going to close in 1, draw a card,
Draw 1, 2, 3,
and
7, 8, 9 cards.
I am going to strike. Let's see if this does it. This is the heart of the cards right now.
I'm going to wild swing.
Okay.
That's just going to have to be it.
Let's see. So I'm going to go first. I hit you for 3.
You are going to go first, and I die.
And you do
1,
lose.
2,
Wow.
3.
That
Very
was-
good.
Yeah, well
That
played.
was very good. Alrighty.
So we're gonna close up these characters, and we'll play with second season characters to demonstrate transformations. Wow, that was really a good game.
That was a very close game.
Yeah.
That was unscripted.
Yeah.
Like that was
Absolutely
that was completely
we were just
unscripted. That
playing.
was actually kind of crazy. It was one of the better games that I've had actually with Ken or with Ryu. I mean,
Yeah.
that is yours actually.
So I'm gonna pull out my actions card, my reference card, and my character card. So second season's a little more complex, which is kind of funny because they've kind of simplified it for the third season.
Which is a good thing. Fighting games are simpler most of the time when it comes to like mechanics based on compared to a tabletop RPG like the characters from the second season.
Yeah.
So as a result, the characters from the second season have a lot more specific things that they do rather than I punch harder,
Yeah.
like in the Street Fighter characters. Not to
So-
say that there aren't mechanics, like the Hadouken is a very good zoning tool,
Yeah.
but these guys, when they exceed, turn into crazy things
Yeah.
instead. So they're a lot more technical, they have very different abilities, and all of them are very unique when it comes to the way that they function.
Absolutely. I've heard from other players that second season plays very much like Yu-Gi-Oh! Or Magic, whereas season 3 is plays a little more like Pokemon, the trading card game.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna move these off screen and shuffle.
We
mine.
are shuffling, we did not pre-shuffle these.
Yeah. I'll let you cut my deck.
Oh yeah, give me 1 second, I'll let you cut mine. I'll be ready to go.
So the one ability with Selinka is that when you prepare, you may put up to 3 cards from your hand into as a face-down continuous boost that reads +1 power. When these cards are discarded, seal them instead. So Selinka specifically has an extra discard pile, one that does not get
Reshuffled at during a match.
That's your.
That was yours.
Oh, okay.
It's okay if you want to break mine,
I thought that was.
and then I'll break mine, and we'll make it even.
Okay. Even though that completely changed.
It's all good. Galdred's special ability, the character that I'm playing, is instead of drawing at the end of my turn, if I don't strike, I have to draw or discard cards until I have 3 in my hand. So most players start with 5 or 6 cards in their hand at the beginning of the duel. I will still start with those cards, but if at the end of my turn I don't strike, I have to have 3. So his hand size is limited. Also, we forgot to mention, the maximum hand size for most characters is 7.
Yep.
So if any of us had gotten to 7, we would have had to down draw from our deck instead of drawing at the end of our turn. Some characters, such
her.
as specifically her, have a larger hand size. So there's a little bit of complexity when it comes to especially the second season characters, since they can kind of change how they play the game, which is a very it's a testament to the way that the second characters are. So we'll do rock paper scissors
Rock,
again.
paper, scissors, shoot.
All right.
Okay. I'm gonna choose to go first.
All right. So I'm gonna draw 6 cards.
I'm gonna draw 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
Okay, so I don't like the cards in my hand at the beginning of the game. So what I'm going to do is what's called a mulligan. So at the beginning of a game, I can take these cards and put them next to my deck and draw 6 more cards. 2,
And I'm going to
3,
do the same. I will be drawing
4,
2 cards
5,
instead of all of them,
6.
and then I will shuffle them back in my deck.
And so I get to shuffle these cards back into my deck. I like how we were both like, I don't like this. It's a good way to balance the game, because as much of this as it's trying to be a fighting game, it is still a card game.
Yeah.
And you can get not very desirable cards at the beginning of a match. So it's nice when there's a rule in place that lets you kind of alleviate that somewhat. So you get to just break mine.
Okay, first strike deals damage
I mean, it's a move set, so your character should know how to fight.
Your character should know how to fight, and that's the point. All right.
Not much better.
Mine's a little bit better.
So I have this, I can put it in here, mine.
Okay, because I'm going to go first, what I'm going to do is I'm going to prepare. So I'm going to draw 1, 2, and I am going to, actually, didn't see that, I'm sorry. Because of her ability, I only draw 1. And then what I'm going to do is put 2 cards face down under her, because I can place up to 3 for a continuous boost. And what I will do is, I like all these cards, but I'm going to play these 2. So on my next strike, I have a +2 power.
It's probably kind of hard to see that. So he has 2 cards underneath his character right now.
Yeah.
His character lets him use force from his hand as continuous boosts. So you put them underneath upside down so that you don't get the effect of those cards, like that regular effect of those cards any longer. I am going to discard a card to move. So the card I'm discarding is a ultra attack. Red cards are worth 2 force when used to as force. So discarding it, I get to move 2 spaces, and then I get to draw a card.
I also have a new transformation for my
Okay.
if you select zero lens,
I'm going to draw my 1 card. I am going to attach it.
You're just building up for a big attack, aren't you?
I'm going to pop 2 under here. So now I'm at 4 continuous boosts, which means I'm going to do a +4 damage. Hopefully I hit.
No, because it will still go in the negatives.
That doesn't matter.
No, because it is combat damage. Right?
Doesn't matter if it's
Okay,
combat.
13. A 13, right? It will be dealing 13
But
to this, and we will.
I am going to EX attack.
Ooh, okay. I'm real nervous because if you play the right card, you might just make me whiff this whole thing. Oh, good. Okay. So it wasn't the card I thought you were going to play.
Yes, it was not.
But you're going to hit
But
first.
it's okay. So I am going to go first.
Yep.
We have to calculate range. 1, 2, 3. You're within my range.
Yeah, 2 and 3.
I am going to ignore armor, but you don't have any on your character anyways.
Yep.
And I am going to
For 5.
hit you for 5.
I am, and you gain advantage.
I do.
Yep.
I do. Oh, no, if I have 1 or fewer cards in my hand, which I don't.
Oh, okay. No, you don't.
Which I don't.
You can now attach that hit to your transformation, which is something we haven't done before.
Yes. So 1 of these gets discarded because it was used in the EX deck, and instead of this going to my gauge, I get to equip this as an equipment card on my character. So when I set my attack, I may spend 1 force. If you do, your attack has +1 speed.
Yep.
So I get to add that as an equipment. I really wish there was a good way to do this with the transformations. We'll have to put
We'll
them.
slide it under the.
Well, yeah. Well, so normally what you do with the transformations is you slide them under the mat. I don't think they're able to see that.
Okay.
But we're going to be putting those abilities down here so they don't stay and stacked up, so we can move our characters around more
Yeah.
easily. Because you can attach a lot of these.
Yeah.
And they stay permanently attached. They're not like the continuous boost. They're like permanent equipment now for my character, so I can
Rest of the
always
game.
use that ability. So.
Because I had enough guard, I was able to survive that hit. I am going to be hitting you for 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 damage. Seal up to 3 cards this way in your hand. For each card sealed this way, +1 power. So I'm going to seal 2 cards in my seal. So I'm going to actually be doing 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6.
11 damage.
11 damage. On the
Oh,
first
gosh.
However, these are out of the cycle now, and unfortunately, I will never be able to see these cards again because they are sealed. But what a hit to start that game.
Very scary. Alrighty, so it is your turn.
Yep. I'm going to prepare. I'm going to do my full prepare. Your turn.
I am going to...
And step, you get a rat. You're the fucking rats.
Now the thinking games begin.
Yes. What do I want to do? So I'm going to prepare, and then instead of drawing at the end of my turn, I have to discard cards to be 3. So I am going to discard these 2 cards.
Absolutely. I am going to do a boost, which is draw 4 cards. So 1, 2, 3, 4. And because I boosted, I will draw another card at the end of my
And now
turn.
you're
1,
at
2, 3,
7.
4, 5, 6, 7. Correct. And it is your turn.
Alrighty.
Additionally, I don't think your guard can give you that much, did it?
No. I have to retreat after 3. Oh, no, I'm sorry, after I advance. No. After I retreat 3.
I am going to attempt a strike.
Okay. I will do that. Okay.
Alrighty, so I'm going to go first. Before advance 3. 1, 2, 3. I am out of your range, but I am out of my range now, but because I passed you, your attack does not hit me.
Yep. And so I will discard, and I
I
will
will draw a card, and I will just discard because I missed.
Yep. Rude play. Just wasting my cards. I. Okay. Formulating a strategy here. It's very, very complex. As in, I have to do this the right order. Okay, so I am going to boost. This costs 1 force, so I'm going to spend 1 force on a boost. I'm going to advance 3, so 1, 2, 3. I can't advance past you. I'm going to strike, and I'm going to strike with that card. Flip. Okay, so I do hit you. Push 2, I can't do that. After, if you have a continuous boost in play, did not utilize this card at
No,
all.
you didn't, but you wanted the transformation. I know why
Yeah.
you played that, so that's okay. I take 0 damage because my armor is 2.
Yep.
So it reduces this thing down. That means I don't have to discard any more cards, and I get to add this to my gauge.
So the important thing about transformations is that they reduce your exceed cost by 2.
Yes.
So these characters in second season usually cost more to exceed. Like Slinka here costs 5.
And I cost 6 as compared to 2 on Ryu, for
Yeah.
example. It's a lot higher, but because I have a transformation, that is now 4.
Yep,
Which
and
makes it a lot more reasonable. And if I have 3 transformations, my exceed cost is 0, which
Yep.
means that I can exceed whenever I want.
Yep. However, you do not gain the gauge when you transform a card.
Yes, you do not gain the gauge, but sometimes gauge reduction cost for your exceed is much more important.
Yeah. You
can
now-
choose.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it is
it's a choice game, yep.
It's a secure transformation.
Yep.
Okay, your turn.
Yep.
'Cause I
I
believe
am
I should-
going to prepare, and then my ability lets me draw another card to have 3 in my hand.
I'm going to boost, which is retreat up to 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. And I will draw a card. Your turn.
I'm going to draw a card, and then I'm going to have to discard a card because I need to have 3 at the end of my turn.
I am going to strike.
Well, that's great. I'm going to wild swing.
Okay, let's see what happens. Okay, you go. I go first, actually. So I hit you for 4 damage. On hit, draw a card, and afterwards, draw a card. Also, I gain the
You hit me for 2 because
2
I have
damage.
2
Yep,
armor.
correct, armor.
So 1, 2.
And then-
And I am not within range, so I do whiff.
Yep. So my 2 transformations right now I have are your attacks if there is a copy of this card, so on my attack, if that card is a copy in my sealed area, it has a +1 power and a +1 armor. Also, your attacks, if there is a copy of the opponent's attack in the sealed area, I get a +3 guard.
I wish you should try to show your sealed area too. I just realized, yeah.
So this is my sealed area right now.
It's normally laid underneath the discard pile so that you're able to see it. I see that you've also only really sealed regular attacks, which is very scary.
Big brain plays.
So it is now my turn. I'm going to play this boost. It says transform a card from your hand, then discard your hand. So I'm going to transform this card from my hand, which reads, you may play a boost from your gauge as though it was in your hand. When you do, add the top card of your deck to your gauge. And then I have to discard this card. And then at the because it was a boost, I had to discard my hand. But now at the end of my turn, I have to draw up to 3 because of my character's ability.
Yeah.
So I get to add 3 new cards to my hand.
I am going to, actually no. I'm in a predicament right now.
When you have too many cards in your hand.
Well, it's not that I have too many cards, it's that I'm not close enough to you for anything useful. So, what I'm going to do, try to think of how to power play this game. I guess I will draw a card. I will see if I want to.
Oh, yeah. I have the same speed which I
I am going, actually,
Okay, so
yes, I will
1, 2.
Attach one.
attach one, and will I attach the other one?
Does 4 damage.
Yes, I will attach this other one.
Okay, so you get
So I have 2 cards under me, so I am a +2 power, and I'm going to draw 1 more card.
Alrighty, so I am going to play this boost. Move 2, then take another action. So 1, 2. And that other action is going to be to strike.
Okay, I will return.
So I'm going to go first.
Yep.
So before, close 2. 1, 2. On hit, I'm going to hit you for 4.
Yep.
You don't have any armor, so that's going to be a full 4.
1, 2,
and on
3,
hit,
4.
I gain advantage.
Yep. Because you didn't exceed my gauge, I am going to hit you for 6, 7, 8. And because I have a sweep, that would be 8, 9 in here.
Jesus.
So this is going to go here. Also, the opponent must discard a card at random.
So I only have 1 card, so there we go.
And these 2 cards in here. I have the whole library now sealed away. So I will be, if you ever play a common card, I will be able to get +3 guard.
my speed is 1.
Before I advance 3, if I move past the opponent,
It's my turn because I gain advantage.
Yeah.
So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to spend 2 to exceed. So I have 2 transformations right now, which reduces my gauge cost by 2 for each.
Yep.
So now I'm at a gauge cost of 2 to exceed. So I'm going to spend the 2 gauge to exceed. And when I exceed, I strike. And I choose to strike with my character as the attack because that is something that I now have. So this character, when he exceeds, becomes the Beast Within. The Beast Within, when striking, may strike with the attack print on this card. So normally I would do -1 power and -1 speed for each card in my hand. But because
Okay.
my hand is empty, I now have an attack that has 6 damage and 6 speed, which is very strong.
What are your transformations?
You may set an attack. When you set an attack, you may spend 1 force, which I don't have any in my hand, so I can't do that to increase the speed. And then I may play boost for my gauge, but because I don't have anything in my gauge.
So I'm going to retaliate with this strike. I have a 7 speed, so I am going to go first.
Great.
I hit you for 2 damage, and I will push you 2 to get you away from me. After, if you have a continuous boost in play, which I do not, gain advantage. Because I've already played this card in my transformation, I have to add it to my gauge. I cannot add it to my transformations. So you got hit pretty hard there.
I am very scared.
I am also going to exceed, so that's going to cost 1 because I have 2 transformations. I'm going to put that there. And now my entire discard pile gets attached to my sealed. So I have many cards in my discard sealed area. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. 14 cards, and then for every 5 cards in your sealed area, a maximum of 3, you gain +1 power. So right now I have 2+ power on every attack.
Oh, and I get to draw one, right?
Ooh.
Scary play right
It's
there.
actually really scary play because I want to have no cards in my hand, but right now I'm far away, so I can't.
You can't.
I'm having a hard time.
Yeah. So
You didn't give me the time to
Oh.
set up the
and then I
transformations
draw
that I
one because
needed.
I did that.
Alrighty. I am going to. So I do not have the ability anymore that I used to have because I exceeded. I became a different character essentially. So my hand size is not limited anymore. So I can do a normal prepare and draw 2 cards
However, you are losing 2 power and 2 speed when
with
you
this
do that.
attack,
Yeah.
which means that it's not something that I normally want to do right
Yeah.
now.
Trying to think of how I'm gonna utilize this. Also, I don't have a discard pile anymore. If I run out of cards, I will lose the game.
Yeah, I'm gonna use this one.
So I can't reshuffle my. I'm gonna strike.
Already.
I can't
So
reshuffle
I
my
am also going to
discard.
strike, but I'm also going to use the ability when I set my attack, I can spend 1 force to increase that card's speed by 1.
Okay.
Ah, doesn't matter.
Yep. I go first. I'm gonna hit you for 4, 5, 6,
I lose.
and good game.
That was it.
Well played.
Very fast paced.
Yeah,
That was
I
kinda-
had 2 of these, so I was gonna. If you got somehow defended that, I was gonna get right in your face and just smash you with 8 speed
Very good.
because I had that prepared.
Very nice match. All right.
But as you can see, there's a lot of versatility in all the different characters, how they play. These characters can play Ryu and Ken as well. They're all playable. There's different strategies for each character and how to play other characters. So that was another really good match.
That was good. That was a little fast. We could play another one probably.
Yeah. Are you interested in playing?
The way I learn is I have to sort of play with the cards in order to
Oh, okay.
learn it. But yeah,
I mean, we can do a walkthrough.
A little
with you.
tutorial real quick.
Yeah,
that
do you-
might be a good way to do it.
Do you want to take it over and I'll hand over my mic or?
Yeah, sure.
Okay.
Is it okay if we teach someone to play?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, cool.
Whatever you want to do.
Awesome,
Absolutely.
perfect.
That's great.
I appreciate it.
We can show. He's never played before, so
Yeah.
this is
This is
how
good.
easy it is to learn.
Yeah.
By the way.
Hello.
Hi, Caleb. Nice to meet you.
Hello.
Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you.
will,
Officially, there we go.
What was your name again? I'm sorry.
Brandon. Brandon, yes. We should have worn name tags.
Well, because I was listening to the way you guys were describing, and you guys are very good at going back and forth and like going through each of the different steps without repeating. So it's great to hear. And I love the idea of like different styles of play for different seasons too. Like especially with like more of specialty moves for season 2. That's a really cool twist. Especially,
Oh, yeah. Well, then, how about you pick a character that you think looks cool? You can learn how to play that.
The mic. It is turned off, so when you clip it on, they'll probably have you do a quick sound check.
All right, thanks. This is my first being on.
Stream? Yeah. That's good, though.
I'm psyched.
You get thrown into it. It's the best way.
Alex wants to sit on that back chair there.
Yeah, I think he's wandering. I'll tell him when he comes back. Yeah.
Yeah, he's welcome to stay there now.
So yeah, any of these.
I like the look of this guy right here.
Awesome. Yeah, he is a first season character. So there are 3 seasons. The first season characters are available out, but they are not in print anymore. So they are available if you can find them, but they are not being actively produced by Level 99.
Interesting. Do you know why that is?
They didn't come with the boxes. So that was one of the main reasons. So this box is actually one that they designed, but they never had officially made. So we printed these so that we could have these in our big collection that we have. That is one of the reasons. Another reason is the foil cards that you guys were seeing from season 2 are in Season 1 as well, and the foil kind of messes up the cards. They bend very easily. So in the new seasons, they're stopping producing them in Season 1 because of that reason. And then in Season 3, they got rid of the foil entirely because it makes it more fair because you can't tell what the cards are, but you can kind of tell. That's why we have these sleeved the way that we do too, because it makes it a lot harder to tell what kind they are.
I got you.
So,
Thanks for that. Tim.
yeah, of
I
course.
apologize. As you guys were playing through, I was like, "This is so awesome!"
Yeah.
My sense of the rules.
No, it's
you're
okay.
fine. It is a very fun game.
So I'm going to give you my character's card
Okay.
so that you can know it. Another thing, the first season cards do not have the character
We have
cards.
to print them off,
We have to
yeah.
print them. They are available. Level 99 is very open with their stuff. They make everything available. It just doesn't mean that they thought of it initially when they started the game. So the game's kind of evolved
As it
as it should.
Yeah.
Yep.
That makes sense, and especially it's like a rough draft, final draft.
Yep.
As you go forward. Do you guys have any changes for season 4 that you're thinking of?
So that's a good
Season
question.
4 is an extension of Season 3. It'll be more Street Fighter characters. They do have the characters up on Tabletop Simulator to play. You can play this whole game. All the characters are on Tabletop Simulator. And it's there's a great community on Discord. We're here locally in Cleveland, so if you're interested, you can join the Cleveland Exceed group on Facebook. We come up here on Thursdays at Immortals to play with our cards. Because
6 to 9 every Thursday, unless something happens. We're
Yeah.
normally here. We enjoy playing the game a lot. Very much so. So we're always willing to teach new people, teach
have
teach
all
new
the-
people, play people who know how to play. We are very much so interested in setting up. They do have a competitive scene for this as well. It is a fighting game, so competitive scenes kind of build themselves off of it naturally. And our home base is here at Immortals right now, so we're always trying to get new people in and get old people who know how to play in. So. Oh, you did not. You accidentally shuffled your character card in. So this is your character.
Okay.
And your character's going to go here.
All right, there you go.
So here we go. I'm glad we noticed that.
2 space behind, 3 in the middle.
Yes.
2 space-
So this is a standard game. Standard game, you start at 30 health, 3 spaces apart. And then a short game is 15 health and 1 space apart. But we tend to start full games because it lets you play more. When you're so close, you can kind of just punch each other to win. With this, you kind of have to think about what's going on. So I'll let you cut my deck.
Cool.
Places you can pick up the game is on Level 99's website themselves, or you can pick it up on Amazon, I noticed. The game includes, so if you get a season box, it includes 4 unique characters. They're not mixed. You don't have to build the decks. It's all pre-made. So it's real safe to buy. You get 4 characters. That means you can run 2 games at the same time with 1 box. Each box is about $30, so it's a pretty reasonable price for 4 decks.
So instead of rock, paper, scissors, we're going to roll a d20, and whoever gets the higher number is going to go first.
Oh, wow, you guys
I got a 2, you got a 5, so you get to choose whether you want to go first or second. If you go first, you'll get 5 cards. If you go second, you'll get 6.
I will go second, please.
Okay, perfect. So you can go ahead and draw your 6 cards.
Cool. And you chose your first game, correct?
Yes. I play, so the reason I normally do that is because this is my main character, and he benefits from being slower than his opponent. So going second generally can benefit me because it gives me more options to try to be slower. So my character's ability is if your attacks have if the opponent my attacks have if the sorry if your attacks have if the opponent's attack has higher printed speed than this attack. This attack has +1 armor and +1 guard. So that means I'll take a little less damage and have a better chance to try to retaliate against you. Because if your guard is higher, you can take more damage before you get stunned. Okay. So they kind of run in tandem with each other. Your character is very unique. So you actually picked a wild swing character. So
Awesome.
when you use a wild swing, look at the top card of your deck. You may draw it. Or put it back, then perform the wild swing. So if you draw it, if you do a wild swing, you'll look at the card first. If you want to play it as the wild swing, you'll put it back down, or you can just put it down. Essentially, you can put it back down here to use it, or you can draw it and then wild swing with the next card instead.
It's a lot to take in.
It is a lot to take in.
Basically,
Yes.
wild swing, you pull the top card off the top of your deck and
Yeah.
you play it normally, but you
You
get to
look at it first,
Yeah.
and if
Okay.
you want to play it, you can. If you not, you keep it, and then you'll wild swing with the next card instead.
Okay.
Yeah, I think I went a little too in depth there with the thinking.
No, it's all good info. It's all
2, 3.
absorbing it as I go.
You explained it very technically.
Yes.
Just the layman's term.
Yeah.
All right.
4, 5. So I am going first, correct? Yes. So we're gonna put him back. Alrighty.
This is a good demonstration of different seasons fighting each other.
Yes. So I'm going to start off with a strike,
Okay.
and which means that you have to counter strike. So you got to pick a card that you think can hit me or at least like block. Yeah, good assistance.
So something you're going to want to look for, because he's striking you, you're going to want to look for something with good guard.
Okay.
And you're going to want to look for something that has speed. But your character is a lot more defensive, so you're going to probably go with something with more guard.
Okay. So these have the highest guard.
Yeah.
These are 7s instead of 5s. So I'd want to play one of
Actually,
these.
before you pick that, we're going to look at one more thing.
Yeah.
Double check your range, because 1, 2, 3,
Okay.
4. So you have to hit him on a 4 unless he's moving.
Okay.
I don't think if we look at your card, could we?
He has it.
Oh, okay, so we're gonna look at his reference card. He has his ultra attacks. Obviously, don't have range. He only has one attack that has range, so he could be possibly hitting us with this. This is why the reference card is so valuable, because we can determine either he's going to do a dive, which is one of the common cards, so he's going to land here, or he's going to do one of these moves, which is range 2 to 6 or 3 to 7. Both of them are speed 4 and 3, but they're going to do 5 and 3 damage. So if we have something that has 5 or 3 guard higher, we'll be safe. So your cards will actually be pretty good. However, we'll just have to either that card, because that's going to move you, or
Okay.
this card. No, I would do this card just in case. I don't think it'll hit, but we can try.
Okay. Let's do
So
this
you'll
card.
play it. You normally play it face down. We have there's a little bit of ceremony
yeah,
that we
no,
do.
for
So you place it face down, and then you both flip at the same time. So
Okay,
we'll
so
go ahead and do that. I'll flip
simultaneous
it towards you so that you know.
Okay.
Thank you.
I
I
know
called the
you
guy. I
got
appreciate
me.
that.
Yeah, you got me a little bit. All right. So my speed is higher by 1, so I'm gonna go first. So
Okay.
1, 2, 3. I did not move past you, so my before effect does not take. My before effect does take place with the advance, but I do not gain the immunity to getting hit by you. So I do hit you for 5. You do not have any armor, so you're going to take the full 5.
Okay.
But your guard is, my attack is not higher than 5. It is the same as 5, so you are not going to get stunned. Now I am in your range of 1. Before close 2, you cannot close past me, so you're just going to stay put, but you are going to be able to hit me for 2.
Okay.
1, 2. You do have an on-hit effect, so you can discard up to 3 cards at random. For each card discarded this way, +1 power, and the opponent must also discard a card.
So if you want, basically what that's saying is you can ask him to pick up you choose how many cards, he'll pick them from your hand, and that's how much extra damage you're going to do.
And how many cards I have to discard.
Okay.
So that's a really destructive attack.
So
from him and
I have to choose the cards that you discard though. So you got to tell me how many cards you want. So shuffle them and then do it.
your hand's pretty safe right now. I would say 2 or 3 would be a safe play, especially this early on.
Yeah, I mean 5 damage is a pretty good attack. Like 2 damage right off the bat isn't great, but you did at least retaliate against me. So
Well, in that case, I'll go for 2 then, please.
okay. Well, then I also have to discard 2.
Do you have to randomly? Or
No, it just says I must discard them. It does not say randomly, so I get to choose the cards that I
So
discard.
that gives you an advantage in terms of the...
Yes. However,
Balance.
I really didn't want to discard cards, so
No, I know your character enough that.
so I'm going to choose these 2.
Okay.
I'm going to put this character. Oh, I happen to pick the same 2 cards. Wow. That is a lot of guard. Oh my goodness gracious. Okay.
So this
I get to
successful
read
hit,
I
I'll
get to
move-
choose to read these at any time too.
So that's 2 hits, so it'd be down to 20.
No.
No, that was me, so I'm going to take 1, 2.
Oh,
Yep.
right.
Yeah, I only took 5, so.
And this is going to be added to your gauge.
Yep.
And because he hit you as well, that will.
And I get to add mine to my gauge.
There is no limit to the gauge.
Awesome.
So you can have as many cards in there as you want. Wouldn't recommend it.
That was a good card for me to get rid of.
Yeah. No, I was hoping one of those, not both.
Okay, so I do have to discard 2 cards now.
This is fun. Thanks again for walking me through this. By the way.
Absolutely,
I
no
appreciate
problem.
it.
Absolutely.
You can find us at a lot of conventions doing just this.
Yep.
So, yeah.
Yeah.
I'll
All
be
right.
at, the next convention I'll be at Anime Central in Chicago. So you'll find me there teaching people how to play the game.
I am also doing an event at Kid Force in Berea on the 18th of May. Me and a couple of our other friends are going to be running a demo of this, of the Street Fighter set, and the other cards, and we're going to be teaching people how to play the game there.
That's really cool. I have a lot of questions. Like, what kind of folks generally play this game? Like, if there's, I guess, another kind of game.
That's a
that
good, really
dovetails.
good question. Honestly, from
well, you no.
yeah. So from a lot of the people that were coming up before the Street Fighter season came out, it was a lot of younger kids because the main Exceed,
kids, but more the anime.
I would say more anime. Yeah, not younger kids, not necessarily younger, but so I was getting to the Street Fighter. So Street Fighter has brought in a very large demographic of people. So when we were at PAX East in Boston, and we had a lot of people, younger people, like anime people, still coming up because they saw the anime cards, but they also saw Street Fighter. We also had like their parents, and their people coming up and being like, "Oh, that's Ryu! I can fight as Ryu in this game, and my son can play this random anime character against each other." It was so awesome. Yeah, it was a really good dynamic. So I think that the main demographic is probably still going to be that like mid-range, like people who like anime, people who like this kind of culture, which kind of is a big demographic. But now it's kind of like expanding very slowly with Street Fighter characters. It's going to be even more after they release even more Street Fighter characters because they're kind of down the pipeline.
I would say anybody who likes trading card games, like the 1v1 trading card games, and or like Nintendo Smash, or Street Fighter, obviously, any of those fighting games. Skullgirls is another game that's plays similar to this, but yeah, those are the games. If you're playing those, you'll like this.
Yeah. We have a friend who doesn't really play card games at all. He plays Mortal Kombat, the video game that he really likes. And we showed him this, and he was like, "I don't think I'm going to like it." And he played a couple games, and he went home, and the next day he called us and was like, "I need to play more of this. Let me come over and play some of these other characters because there's so many characters in the game, but they can all be played with each other. It's actually really a very amazing kind of thing."
Yeah, I love that cross versus interaction, like with Street Fighter or other kind of seasons.
So if you're one of those Yu-Gi-Oh or Magic players, you're going to be like, "Oh no, I can't build." Thank you.
I actually completely forgot that you weren't even on mic.
Probably pick up anyway.
Okay, cool. That's awesome.
I've been trying to talk a little bit louder.
Oh my goodness.
So if you're one of those Magic guys and you're worried that like, oh no, the game will run out of things to do, there is like 59 characters available right now. That is 59 to, how do you, like to the eye or whatever?
We don't even have all of them. So
that's how many combinations of games you can play.
Yeah, we don't even have all of them. We don't have we have 2 of the Street Fighter characters now, and we're waiting for the rest to come in the mail.
Yeah.
So when we have all the Street Fighter characters, box will be filled up, and we'll have to start a new box when Season 4 comes out.
Yep.
So
it's funny too with games like Magic the Gathering. There's so many cards that you have.
It's very overwhelming at times. I've noticed for myself.
But that's the nice thing about this game is that there might be a lot of characters, but you can think of it as like DLC, and like in Smash Brothers is a good example. It's not a deck building game, so you're never building your deck. This deck comes in this box, and you play with those cards.
And there's a huge amount of variability there.
Oh yeah, and there's still a lot of variability in the deck, but you don't need to worry about coming up with that variability yourself. Like the strategies are what's fun in this game. Working with what you got to win, to conquer against another player.
Yeah.
But
It's a
you
skill
don't.
game.
But
It's
there
not
isn't a game. It isn't a game from another game. The game of trading card games is collecting and making sure that you get the right
Optimizing.
cards and optimizing, but that can take a lot of time. This gives you that same sort of thrill of optimization, but in one package, and it's really cool because the cards can be used in so many ways. You saw it with boosts and with gauge cost and with everything. It's a lot of pick and choose, and every game is going to be different, even with the same character. Like I've played 40 games with this guy, and I still have learned new ways to use him literally every time. It's kind of amazing.
It's almost like when you're playing an RPG, it's like you are that character
Yes.
kind of thing, you know, as opposed to this amorphous character that's playing a lot of different worlds and whatnot.
Absolutely. So it is your turn.
Yeah, sorry.
We've only done one. We've only done one turn,
Yeah.
but that was a lot of good explanation. So you can go ahead. You have that action card over. We'll just give him this action card here. This is so everything you can do. Here, I'm going to put it in the camera view.
I can do better.
Everything that you can do is going to be per turn. You get to choose one action, which is any of these bold items here, and as long as that action isn't a strike, you can also draw a card at the end of your turn. So the first example is a prepare, which is draw a card. You would then draw a card and then draw another card because you did not strike. Boosting, you saw us do earlier, so you can use a instant or continuous boost from the bottom of the card by paying this gauge cost.
Force cost.
Force cost, sorry, not gauge cost, force cost. So red means force, red is hand, blue is gauge, which is this area here. I wish they would have made this blue on this mat, but you can.
They're fixing it in the
They
next
are fixing
one.
it in the next one. So the next Street Fighter mat, I believe, is going to be blue. Yeah, with the gauge.
And the gauge system, you can build it up?
Yes,
Yep.
you have infinite gauge. So you can have infinite gauge. You don't. I've never really run into a situation where you have that much gauge, except against a certain character that I don't like very much to play against. It gives you a lot of wiggle room because you don't need to worry about not getting gauge. That's something you won't need to worry about, but you will normally use it up faster than you'll gain it, if that makes sense most of the time, especially with the second season characters because it can cost a lot to do things sometimes. So.
And I apologize, just to clarify, the purpose of gauge, what does having increased gauge give you?
It's your power.
It is your. You can think of it as like a combo meter in the fighting game. So for certain cards, like the ultra attacks, I need 2 gauge to use this attack. So two gauge to use Crusader's Oath, 3 gauge to use Inviolable Judgment. And those cards are strong. You also need gauge to exceed, so you need 3 cards in your gauge to flip your card over, and then you would gain your other power instead, which we can take a look at. Generally, with the first season characters, their exceed is a better version of their non-exceeded ability, while the second season characters, their exceed is a completely different character. Essentially. So you lose the old ability. So I will lose the armor and guard that I gain when being slower, but instead I can do the first time I'm struck and during a strike, if I'm hit, I get to draw a card and then I get to spend a force, and if I do, that attack will have +2 power. So it still benefits me to be slower. But I don't get the extra guard, and that's the key. It makes it harder for me to hit, but if I do manage to take the hit, I'm rewarded with a big power boost, which kind of plays into this character. He is a guardian. He is the faceless judge. He seeks out and destroys demons and stuff. He's an exorcist, essentially, in the game that he's from, which is 7th Cross. Big plug, because it's a role-playing game by Level 99, a tabletop game that's kind of like Monster Hunter mixed with
Jasco.
From Jasco, yeah. Jasco and Jasco and Level 99 made the game, and it is kind of like D&D mixed with Monster Hunter, which is really cool. But it is still in development. We've gotten to play it a couple times. It's very fun, but it is still in the works. So
that's cool to be able to play the game as it's in development. So
yes.
So you get to learn all the characters if you play this game, and so when you jump into that RPG game, you're going to be like, oh, I know this guy, because we're fighting now, and it'll just be
it'll be really good thing. The same with this first season characters. They're from a Jasco game called Red Horizons. So a lot of the Red Horizons players were like, oh, my character is going to be inside of this cool fighting game. Let's do it. And That's like the cool kind of thing about Exceed is that you can kind of bring in. It's a fighting system like Smash is, so you can kind of put in whatever character you want for basically anything. So that's why the Street Fighter characters work with these other characters. They're from a different universe, but now they exist in the same space.
Same format.
Yeah, and it's a very cool like kind of back and forth dynamic going on.
And it'd be interesting to see how those characteristics carry over from game to game.
I have,
too.
can I?
So sorry, it's my turn, right?
Yeah, it is your turn. So you get to choose any of those actions to do. No.
Okay. I'll do a change card then. Spend any amount of force to draw that many cards.
Oh, that's fun. Do you know this guy?
He looks familiar. He was in Smash Bros. I forget his name. Something Knight. Shovel
Yeah,
Knight.
Shovel Knight is a.
yeah.
He might be a. He might only be a trophy in Smash, but he is an actual fighter in this game. So you can fight Shovel Knight against Chun-Li from the Street Fighter set if you wanted to, and it's very possible that he could win because he's actually pretty fun to play. He hops around and digs up cards from your deck like he does in the video games. It's really cool. This character is actually really I really enjoy this. There's also a couple one-off characters. So most of the box sets, like Alex said, are 4 characters, but there are some characters that are single, and those characters are normally special characters or promotional characters, like Shovel Knight.
Yeah.
So.
Would they have more specialty abilities?
Sort of. So they did not give us the deck. So this is Cat's set. But they do. They have their own abilities. They're actually special. So his ability is when he moves using the prepare action, he can draw a card, which is something that most characters can't do. So he gains card advantage. But he can maintain card advantage with that ability, essentially. Also, his special attacks are different. So every character has 2 ultra and then 5 special attacks. His are very unique to him. It lets him do things like that he can in the game, like turn his shovel into propeller and like everything like that.
So let's get to the next move.
I'm scared. Yeah, it's okay. No.
So we went on a little side tangent there, but now
We
we're
plugged
back
a
in
lot,
the
but
game.
it's good because I wanna see how this is gonna match because I've actually never fought Morthai before.
Yeah.
Oh, cool. So I'll change cards. Spend any amount of force to draw that many cards.
Actually, so yeah, you spend cards to draw cards, or you can prepare. Preparing is probably the safest option.
Preparing. How,
Yeah.
what
Prepare is you draw 1 card, and because you took an action, you draw another card.
Yeah.
So usually we just say draw 2 cards.
The reason why you would want to change cards is to get rid of the cards in your hand because you're not scared of losing them because they
Yeah.
do go into your discard and you can get them back in by reshuffling later in the game. You get 1 reshuffle per match. So essentially you have 2 decks you can go through with most characters before you would lose because on the second reshuffle, if you're out of cards, you cannot strike. You lose the game, essentially. So when you're out of energy, you're expended. You're too tired to continue. But with preparing, you just get to add cards to your hand. So change cards, you want to get rid of them. Also, if you discard a red card that way, you get to draw 2 cards instead because it counts as 2 4s.
Okay.
Yeah, you don't have any.
So, but you prepared. So now it is my turn.
All right.
Instead, I am going to strike again.
Okay, so again, we're going to look for something with good guard or high speed.
Okay.
It looks like we'll be doing a guard game, so this is actually a pretty safe play to go.
Focus.
Yeah.
Cool. All right. Oh, thank you.
So I am gonna go first
Yeah.
on this, which means I do not get my armor and my guard. Darn. That's okay. So I do get to hit you. You're within range, so I hit you for 6 minus 2, which is 4. 4 is lower than 5 guard, so you get to retaliate, and I get to take 4 as well.
Okay.
And you draw a card afterwards.
So I draw a card, right?
Yeah, because
Because of your
after effect you get to draw. But I also need to have you discard a card. So I'm
yes.
gonna put that card that you
No,
had face down because I get to hit on hit.
Oh,
I get to make you discard.
yeah, you
so
would've-
just put it down so that I don't pick it because
Yeah.
we forgot to do that. So
Okay,
now I'm
cool.
going to choose one to discard instead.
So this will go to your gauge. That'll go to your gauge.
Okay. And now.
And
And now it is your turn.
yep, your turn.
Awesome.
So now because you're attacking, you don't need to worry so much about guard as much as you want to have higher speed. And because you're right next to him, you're gonna want something with like 1 range.
Okay. So how about something like this, which has about power of 4 and speed of 5?
I mean, I really only
Yeah,
have
you have
one
one
card in my hand, so honestly, I don't really know what I'm going to do to counterplay anything besides this. Like, I could Wild Swing, but I really don't trust Jeffrey during Wild Swing. He is not a Wild Swing character. You are a Wild Swing character.
I would pick one, either this card or this card. Would be a safe play. Read the text and see what you think might play better.
Okay, so this one moves the opponent 1 or 2 spaces, and this one discards up to 3 cards at random. Close 1 space per card discarded this way. So because we're right up next to each other, oh, and the hit is the opponent must discard 1 card per card you have discarded during the strike. Because you don't have many cards in your deck in the first place, I'm probably going to go with Grasp then, because it moves you 1 or 2 spaces.
So you're going to play that face down. Normally you wouldn't tell them what you're about to strike with. So
That's okay, because you're actually giving me an opportunity to show this attack. I've never actually successfully hit with this.
Okay.
So we're going to see. Okay.
so you're going to go first.
Okay.
Because my speed is lower, I get 1 armor and 1 guard. So I have 1 metaphor, one armor, even though I don't have anything written on the card.
So you're going to take 2 damage.
So I'm going to take 2. 2.
You're going to be able to move him 1 or 2 spaces. Because his range is 1, I would say move him away from you.
Okay, so move you 2 spaces.
Yep.
Yep.
Before, if you were hit during this strike, close 3.
Oh, wow.
So I get to move back and in, and then I hit you for 4.
See, I like that, the
Yeah.
compound kind of moves, where
Yep.
like one builds off the other.
So that's the nice thing about this, is that you have to go fulfill 1 entire card first.
Yes.
So your card first, you moved me, and then my card text goes. So that's why I was able to move back in. So that's kind of how it is. You got to go first, so your turn goes first. Think of this as like a frame in the fighting game, and then my frame would go through afterwards, that kind of thing. So then you would take 4 damage, and then we both get to add. It was still a successful
take 2
hit.
damage.
I did take 2.
Oh, okay.
I brought it down. I was at 22. So now we both hit, so we both get to add this to our gauge.
Yep.
Sweet.
If you notice, you have 3 gauge, and you also take 3 to exceed.
So you cannot do that yet because it is not your turn. It is my turn, but on your next turn you can use that on action. One of the actions is exceeding, so you'd pay your exceed cost.
Okay, that
So
makes
I
sense.
am going to prepare.
And now it's your turn again.
Okay, in that case, I would like to do so with
Yep.
the exceed.
So you flip over.
And then you would
spend
discard these.
Oh, like AP. I gotcha.
Yep. And then read the text.
So now this is your new ability.
When you use a wild swing, you may pick up 3 cards from the top of your deck. Choose one to be your wild swing, add 1 to your hand, and discard the remaining 1.
So if you remember,
Not yet.
not yet.
You do draw
you
1
do
because
draw
you
1 because you exceeded. So whenever you do an action that isn't striking, you'll draw a card at the end of your turn.
Okay.
So, but because exceeding counts as your turn. So now it is going to be my turn. But on your next turn, you can use that, which is a
Does he have to initiate the
much
strike
better
for the wild swing?
No. It just
you
says
can do that whenever
when you
you-
wild string.
Yeah.
So you can choose to use that ability when you counter strike, which is very strong.
Yeah.
It is very strong. Morthai is a very good character.
I like the timing of this game.
Very good. So I'm going to prepare again because I need more options.
I would suggest doing a wild swing, just to demo that. So you draw 3.
Okay.
Yep. Is it a you may strike?
3.
Or you have
No,
to
you
strike?
have
Okay.
to. So you have to put the rest of your cards down now because you have to use these 3 cards during
Yeah.
this.
Okay.
So you get to keep 1, attack
have
with
to use
1,
that.
and discard 1.
Because you can't use that, or these 2 right now. So I would take, well, you have take one of those, use that, and then throw away that.
Okay, so I'm going to throw
You put it
you
put
put
it
it
into your
face up.
discard.
that
Yeah.
one away. And I'm going to use this.
You can flip it that way. I didn't actually see it, so that's
Yeah.
good. And now it is my turn.
Thank you.
And you can do that on any strike now as well. So you can flip.
Cool.
Oh,
Retreat 3.
it is you go first
Well,
though.
the first
'cause
thing you do, you look at speed.
So-
you have faster speed.
So you have faster speed, so you get to get me.
You're going to hit 3 damage.
Okay.
You don't have any guard.
Yeah, so I
actually you have one guard, but not enough.
I have one guard, which is not enough. I have one armor,
Yeah.
so I'm going to take one less damage.
And because you have the 2 guard, correct?
I have one guard.
Oh, okay, you do.
So I do flinch still, but I took one less damage because of my character's
Yes.
special ability. That was salt.
And then you can move him 1 to 2 spaces.
1 to 2 spaces.
Now you mentioned with range, you'd recommend moving 2 back.
It can make it harder, so you got to look at the character. So my character,
also look at your
your hand to try to set it up. So a lot of my character's cards are 1 to 2, 1, 1.
But he does have that range.
But I have 2 cards that are in range. However, I only have 4 of those cards in my deck,
Yeah.
and a lot of my most of the regular cards only have up to I think all the regular cards only have up to 3 range. So moving me 2 can be a good option depending on what's in your hand.
So a lot of the benefit of this game seems to be understanding the deck of the other players.
Yes,
and how you can interact
which is
with
why
the
in the second and third season and all the seasons to continue, the character cards are going to be crucial because it has all the information about my exceed, about my character, all my special attacks, and then kind of as you learn the game, you'll learn what what other cards I have, like the regular cards, which is why me and Alex have played so much that Alex was able to call my first attack being a dive or one of my long attacks because he knew that dive is a card that lets me approach very close.
Yeah.
Very, and you mentioned that there were only 4 cards in your deck that had that range.
Yes.
Are other editions going to have the number of cards in?
So actually, you can know this. So each deck has most decks. It tells you how many cards are in each deck. So this deck has 33 cards. 3 of those are not cards in the actual deck. 2 of them are 3 of them. The 3 that I'm talking about are these 3: the rule card, the character card, and the character itself. And then there are 30 cards that are actually in the deck that you can use. And those are always, all half of them are the same and half of them are different. And each one is a copy of 2. So there are 2 of each of these cards and 2 of each of these cards. And then there's 2 of each of the different basic attacks in
Which
total
you'll
to
learn
add up to
over-
30.
So,
because those common cards are in every single deck. The game kind of assumes that you'll learn them as you play.
Yes.
that makes sense too, to have half the cards be shared moves,
Yep.
and then half the cards be specialty moves.
Yeah.
that kind of
Yes,
balance.
yes.
And there's 1 copy of every single card in the deck. So there's 15 unique.
2 copies.
No. Yeah, there's 2 copies of the same
2 copies of the same card, and then one, like there's only one, like what you said is correct. I misunderstood.
There's 15 unique cards, 15 of the same cards.
Okay, so you get to choose whether you're going to move me 1 or 2 spaces.
1.
Okay, and then that card gets added to your gauge.
All right. Sweet. Because there's a strike. Gotcha.
Yes, and now it is my turn.
So you'll have to save up 3 of that.
I'm going to strike.
Okay. I gotcha. You're going to strike. Now, what would you
So
recommend?
first thing I would check is the range.
Okay.
Then I would check. So what does this card say?
If you were hit during the strike, close 3 spaces.
You might want to try that. He has some low speed moves, so I would actually even do this one because that's even slower.
I gotcha. And if you were hit during the strike, plus 3 power.
Yeah.
Okay.
So we'll try that. Yeah.
Yep.
Flip. So you do in fact go first.
I do in fact go first.
Cool.
You hit him for.
On hit, so I don't gain the armor or the guard, but I do hit you for 3.
Okay.
You don't have any armor, so you're going to take the full 3. And then on hit, I do get to add 2 life, 1, 2.
Oh, cool.
And then I do add this to my gauge, or not my gauge, my transformation section. I'm going to choose that. I can choose to add it to my gauge, but I don't normally want to do that. Not with these characters.
When you add it to your transformations, and I add this to my gauge?
We're gonna process your attack first.
Okay.
So before, if you were hit during the strike, plus 3 power, so I'm gonna get hit for 7. I'm really glad I healed a little bit there. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and then you do add that to your gauge afterwards.
Yes.
Sweet. And when you put that card into your transformation section, what does that do?
So I have this ability permanently for the rest of the game. So when I set my attack, I can spend 1 force, and if I do, the attack gains 2 guard. So, and it also will reduce my gauge cost for exceeding by the amount printed next to the transformation symbol, the little black circle, permanently. So now instead of it being 5, it is going to be 3.
Very cool.
So he could exceed right now, or on his next turn.
However, I don't like to exceed as early with Jeffrey because I very much like the 1 armor and 1 guard, although it hasn't really been helping me that much this match.
Yeah.
Which doesn't normally happen.
That's a cool strategy to be able to plan out, okay, how am I going to balance out the maximum amount of damage between different states?
Yep. The second season characters are very much like that because the first and third season characters, their abilities are normally like extra special versions. Their exceeds are extra special versions of their normal abilities. But the second season characters are from a fantasy world. So when they transform, that's the whole point, the whole theme of the second season, they literally become a different character. So you kind of had to play around that with basically all of them. Like how the first guy I played for the second season, he transforms into this berserker and he starts hitting stuff. So, you know, but we'll continue.
Yeah,
now we'll continue because we're talking a lot. So it is, I struck, so it is your turn now.
Okay.
So you are not within range anymore.
Okay.
However, so you have 3 cards. I would read their, so you probably know their abilities. So that one, that can move you, that can move you, but you'll miss. So that's probably the play you'll go with.
Okay, thank you.
You feeding him inside information.
Well, yeah.
I
have to defend myself. So I gain my attack. My speed is slower, so I do gain 1 armor and 1 guard. That's the nice thing about blocking with Jeffrey. His block is a little bit better than everyone else's.
Yeah.
So I am going to have 3 armor.
You're gonna, what does that say?
If you were hit during the strike, close 3 spaces.
So since you're going first, that is going to not happen. You are going to still hit me, but because I have 3 armor, I'm only going to take 2 instead of 5.
Okay.
So 1, 2. I could choose to discard this card and reduce that to 0, but I am going to keep it. So I'm not going to choose to do that. So you get to add that to your gauge, and the after effect, if this card is successfully played, which it is because the damage I took was only 2 instead of not higher than 3, I get to add this to my gauge as well.
Okay, cool.
Okay. Now it is my turn. I'm going to prepare for my turn.
So it's your turn.
Oh, cool.
See how this plays.
Okay.
Bum, bum, bum.
Oh, wow.
So you do go first. So you're going to, you're within range before close 2 spaces.
Okay.
On hit, both you and the opponent discard 3 cards at random.
So I only have 2 cards.
So you'll just
We
discard.
both have to discard our entire hand, so...
Put a dirty card
Yes,
up, so
okay.
you have to remove this. And you'll get hit for 7
Minus 2.
2, yeah.
Well, because of my ability. So I gain 1 guard, which means I have 6 guard and 2 armor. So 7, 6, 5. So I'm going to take 5 damage. 5 is lower than 6, so I get to hit you. Before, if you were hit during this strike, plus 2 power.
Ooh.
So I'm going to hit you for 5.
All right.
What an even blow, though.
Yep, and then after, retreat 2. 1, 2.
So this gets added to your gauge.
And mine gets added to my transformation. If I have 5 or less life, you may gain 1 life instead of drawing at the end of your turn. Which is very good now because I'm very close to that point.
But you have the wild swing ability. So now you're striking. If he strikes you and you don't have any cards, you're safe because you know the next 3 cards that you're gonna be playing.
So it is my turn now. We're both kind of blank.
Yeah.
And this is not good for me. This is not good for this
But you got 2
character.
transformation cards out, though. So
Yes, I
you definitely
do.
have the edge.
But I'm going to draw 2 cards.
Okay.
I would do your wild swing abilities because you don't need cards really. Your ability is pretty powerful. So you can either draw 2 or you can do your wild swing, which
Right. Which would allow more decision of which one I want to use. Now what?
that's your winner right there.
This
Yep.
one? Interesting. Okay. So I'll discard this one then.
Yep.
And I'll play this.
That's an insanely powerful attack.
But it also
15
costs
gauge.
8 gauge.
Oh.
That is a lot.
That's the.
Oh, you know who he probably plays very well against? Natalia.
Oh, yeah.
Natalia is a character that gives gauge.
Yeah.
And so you wouldn't even need to worry about building that up because she would just give you the gauge that you need.
and you just plop
And you
that
just
down.
plop
and
it
just
down. Oh, that's
knock her
very
to the
good.
moon.
Oh.
Do you find that there are certain characters that play especially well against other characters?
Yeah.
Or-
Eventually, you'll learn which characters benefit from other characters. Like some characters are like give gauge, but then they get more power, and other characters like yours would just only help. Whereas other people don't care about their gauge as much, and that would really be a hard thing to fight against.
Okay.
Interesting. Okay, I have a speed of 4. You have 3.
Yes, I have a special card text. So some cards offer a innate ability during the strike. So I'm going to discard the 2 cards to play this immediately.
Okay.
Attacks with higher speed do not hit you.
Oh, okay.
Oh.
But you
Yes.
do go
But you-
before 3,
Yes, so you do go before. So you're going to go 1, 2, 3.
and because of your ability,
We both don't hit each other.
Yeah.
Okay.
so this gets discarded.
I was hoping that that's what that card was going to be.
All right.
It would be your turn, Brandon.
It is going to be my turn. I am going to
As well played.
prepare.
On both of you.
Thank you.
You might as well do another wild swing. Build up your hand a little bit, because you get a free card every time you wild swing.
Right. It's good to be able to use that special ability at this point regularly.
Yeah.
Okay. So with that in mind, I'll discard one of these. And I will play this card.
Facing.
All right.
Yep.
Okay.
So I'm going to go first. I am going to hit you for 3. You don't have any guard, so you are going to take 3. And then I get to, so you don't have any guard, and so you're gonna, that card is going to flinch. You're gonna get stunned.
Okay.
So you are gonna discard it, and then I get to hit, I get to move you 1 or 2. I'm gonna put you right here, my friend.
Because that is technically one move. So even though the range doesn't change, it does move.
Yeah. So, so now I get to add this to my gauge, and that was your strike, correct? So it is now my turn, and I am going to strike.
Do you want to do the wild swing, or do you think you have something in your hand right now?
Power 2, not too much. I might as well wild swing.
Yeah. At least you'll open up some more options there.
Right. Okay.
So this is a pretty safe card to play. However, both of these are pretty safe to play, actually.
Okay. Well, I can get rid of the assault then, and then.
Yeah.
All right. Why don't I play block?
Very good card. You're going to be very glad you played that.
Oh, really?
So I'm going to discard the
see.
3 gauge cost,
Okay.
and I go first, even though we both have 0
Yeah.
speed. So, but I go first because it was my turn, which is actually really funny. Because if it was your turn and you played that, you would go first,
would be
which
very
doesn't even matter. It'd be very uncomfortable. So I am going to hit you for 10,
Whoa.
minus 2, which is 8.
But for every card you discard, you can reduce
Reduce
2
that
more.
by 2.
And this one will actually reduce by 4.
Okay. So that'd be 4 damage to me.
So 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. That would be 0 damage. So you can nullify his entire. Well, no, I wouldn't do both. Just 1. Yeah.
What do you mean? You
Because
would only nullify by 4, so it would go down to 4. This would be 2. So he could,
yeah.
and then he could discard that card to make it 0 if you want.
no, it's 2 armor per card.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. It's 8. So it's 6.
Is it 2? No, per force.
Per
And
force,
this
yeah.
is 2 force.
That's 4.
So that's 4
So
armor.
4.
4, 5, 6, 7, 8.
Yeah, but I do 10. So he would be taking 2
Oh,
damage.
okay.
Yeah.
So if you
So if
got
you
rid of
discard
that
that.
one, you can reduce it to 0,
Well,
which might be a safe play because you're pretty low health.
Okay. Well, I'll hold on.
Or you can
Okay.
hold on to it and
Yeah.
just take the 2.
Yeah.
Yeah. Good thought though.
Yeah.
I like
And
The big sad.
because you successfully blocked, that does go in your gauge.
All right, cool.
Wow, you just survived his like Omega attack.
Yes, sweet.
I think it's your turn, yeah.
Okay.
Oh, your actions card instead. Hello.
I was wondering where it went.
Yeah. I'll just pop that in there.
All right, cool. And
I have to wild.
Did you check the range?
yes.
Okay.
I have to wild swing. So, all right, you ready?
Yep.
I don't know if you checked the range, but
Alrighty, so I have a lower printed speed, so I gain 1 armor, 1 guard, but it does not matter against this attack because you ignore armor and ignore guard. So you are going to go first. I am going to
he's not going to hit you.
get stunned. He is not going to hit me. You're correct.
Yeah.
2 to
Because
3.
that's why I asked
Oh,
you.
that's why I need to read the range.
yeah, okay.
That's why I need to read the range too.
So that gets discarded.
Yeah, it gets discarded because it just does not hit me. I then get you hit for 6, and you go down to 0.
That's why I was like, "Are you sure you want to play that?"
Yeah, that's
You
why.
sounded confident, so I was like, "You might have some big brain."
And it's
plays.
really funny because I do that a lot
Yeah.
still too. It is very hard sometimes to be like,
But
I know what I'm
for
doing.
your first game,
That was
playing
very-
his character he plays all the time. You
that
got
was
that
very close.
Yeah.
That was very good.
Yeah,
Very
good
good game. No problem. Awesome.
Yeah, absolutely. I think
All
Kat
right,
can
you
come
guys
over.
all done?
Yep.
Thank you so much
We're
for
all
watching.
night, so we're gonna
Absolutely.
Is it,
wrap the
sorry.
stream up.
Is it time already? Are you guys Game of Thrones fans?
I am, but I do not. I'm waiting for more episodes to come out before I
you
watch it.
watch
Yeah.
Binge
Yes.
I'm gonna binge it. Yeah, it's gonna be great.
I did that with like season 3 and 4.
It's very good. So
Awesome.
I won't spoil it.
So, what'd you think?
I gotta say, I enjoyed the game. I really appreciate you guys walking me through step by step. I'm not used to being on a camera, so I was like super nervous. My mind just went blank.
It's all good. No, I mean you were asking very good questions. I
Thank you.
appreciate it. Guiding the little guidance from getting interviewed essentially. Yeah, it's like awesome.
Force a habit.
It'll be a great tutorial video.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, no kidding. So it's going to be up actually online. It'll you can check us out on Facebook, Twitter. Well, not the stream. The stream's going to be on Twitch, Facebook, and YouTube. But you can check out Immortals Inc. Also at those places and on Twitter. I am not used to doing the intro and the exit out of here, so you're going to have to forgive me on that. But thank you guys, Alex and Brandon, and thank you, Caleb, for sitting in. If you guys have any questions, you can always look them up at Cleveland Exceed Group.
Cleveland
Yep,
Exceed Group
on
on
Facebook.
Facebook. And
And-
we have a Discord as well, so if
Yeah.
you join the Facebook, you'll get invited to the Discord.
Terrific.
And we're also here at Immortals on Thursdays from 6 to 9.
6 to 9,
Yep.
yes. So you can always stop up. Or if you need to call, give a call, and Immortals can try to help you out too on that. So, and I think that's it for this weekend. Little choppy at the end here, because I don't remember the goodbye stuff. But as always, you can catch us on Sundays from 6 to 9 here at Immortals, and we will see you next week. Thanks.
Cool. Thanks, guys.
Yeah.